You've unlocked a Roundtable.
Hello, and welcome to Lost Levels Roundtable discussion of Keanu. My name is Chris Levan. With me, as always, is Alex Sandberg.
Hello.
So, we just watched two movies today.
We did. It's been a busy day for us.
A long day, it feels like. But yeah, we watched Keanu, and we also watched Ratchet and Clank, which is going to be another review getting released this week as well. All leading up to the exciting movie that we're excited to watch.
Excited.
I said it twice.
You did.
That's how excited I am. Civil War. So until then, you are going to get our thoughts on Keanu.
Yes.
Like
always with our reviews, the first section of it is spoiler-free. Then we're going to do our wrap-up with our final thoughts. And after that, we're going to do a little special section where we go into spoilers, so we get into more details and the nitty-gritty of it all.
Right. So if you haven't watched Keanu yet and you want to get our thoughts on it, listen to this part. Wait, and don't listen to the spoiler section until you've watched it, then come back. So, that being said, Keanu
is from the guys who did Key and Peele, the Comedy Central sketch show.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, this kind of feels like a big, long sketch at parts.
A lot of parts. Okay. First off, I'm watching a movie about a cat named Keanu, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting myself into. I'm not expecting this movie to be released at Oscar season by any means.
No.
So I was just like, all right, this at least should be entertaining because their show is really entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And there were long parts of this movie that I was just bored silly with.
Right. I mean, they have some funny concepts that go on there, but they drag that concept on a little too long.
Yeah.
Like, they want it to be a sketch, but it's not a fully formed sketch, so it's just kind of a long joke. It takes a while to get to the punchline, or just keeps delivering the same punchline over again.
Yeah, there were certain moments in this movie I'm thinking, like, this movie's really bad, right? Like, this is just not entertaining. It's gotten to the point where it's kind of just long in the tooth.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say bad and not entertaining, just dragged a little too much at parts.
I was saying that, like, as it was progressing.
Oh, okay.
Because you're right. Those parts that dragged really felt like they dragged.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a problem, like, oh, God, this is just not good. What? And having those moments in the theater, like, what did I get myself into? Because it wasn't funny. They weren't hitting beats that they wanted to hit.
Right. There's something off about the timing of their comedy.
Yeah, and it wasn't something that I was really enjoying. And then after that feeling, like, am I going to walk out of this movie? Oh, okay, that part was kind of funny.
Right.
It's like, luckily it saved itself. But, like, I was contemplating, like, this is a movie that I'm not really interested in. And that's unfortunate. That's not how you should feel during a movie.
Especially one that's a comedy. Especially from these guys, because they're generally really funny.
Oh, they're hilarious. Yeah, I have no problem with them. It's just, for me, the movie kind of lasted longer than it should have. The bits, the ideas behind the comedies, or the scenes were drawn out to points of just them not being funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was not really enjoying the film.
Yeah, I think it just relied heavily on the performances of Key and Peele and the reaction to everything and just their outlandish behaviors.
Right. And
after a while, that just kind of grows old.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you see them freaking out over something? Because that happened a lot.
Yeah, and that's true.
It's them freaking out, then them suddenly, composing themselves and acting all hardcore, and that's rinse and repeat. That's what happens.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that is essentially, you summed up the first and second act very well.
Mm-hmm.
In what, 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all the movie is. There's no substance behind it. You have kind of like just completely stereotypical gangsters
mm-hmm.
in this movie who like give you really no no real depth to anything, and you're kind of just like, okay.
Right.
These are very stereotypical.
Yeah, and they're used a lot more for comedy bits than anything than real characters.
Yeah, and they play on some of those comedy bits too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Just the idea of abusive families and things like that.
Yeah, and they do that obviously, and incorporating George Michael into the movie throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just it kept it getting too old. The jokes were getting there was too much.
Right.
For me anyway.
No, I agree. I agree there.
And by the end, they're just like, okay, we've got here, and it didn't. I don't know.
Like conceptually, it's funny. It's these hard asses, getting won over by an adorable kitten, which the kitten was fucking adorable throughout the whole movie.
The kitten's great.
Yeah, but like, that's the theme, and it's humorous, but once again, it's a theme that can only stand on its legs for a short amount of time.
Yeah, like if they condensed this into a half-hour TV episode, I would say this would be a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
Dragging it out to a full-length feature film suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Because they tried to do stuff too long, and it just their characters kind of didn't make no sense to me, because as you kind of touched on, they were at one moment freaking out, next moment getting hard again, and freaking out, getting hard, and like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill somebody, like, oh, like, and worried about that shit. And then something happens, and it's like their whole entire character just shifts.
Right.
All of a sudden, and then it goes back to, again, where they started. So there's no growth in the growth. Like, their characters were just weird. Because they were very contradictory to what they were trying to establish with the character sets. In one moment, they were doing this. The next moment, they were doing, like... Obviously, I don't want to get into
the specifics of
it, but we'll do that in the spoiler section. I didn't enjoy their characters as much as I really wanted to.
And I feel like the balance of the character dynamic was offset because, at one point you have one person leading the charge, then suddenly it switches so the other person's leading the charge, and it's them just keep telling each other forward. At some point, you have to figure both of them would be like, hey, let's stop. Mm-hmm. Right? But it's just them dragging everything forward.
Yeah, like the first the drug delivery scene where they deliver drugs to a famous Hollywood person.
Mm-hmm.
That scene took too long.
Right.
That scene dragged way too much to get anywhere, and even the payoff for it was like predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunate because well, okay, that obviously wasn't going to happen. Maybe, but I doubt it.
No.
And then sure enough, third act happens. It's like, okay, yeah, I understood. But yeah. And
there's that the way everything kind of wraps up is just way too clean and makes little sense as well.
I wasn't expecting it to make very much sense.
Right. I mean,
by the end, I was ready for the credits to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let's end this. I love Method Man. I love him. Like I like Wu-Tang Clan. I've owned albums. Like I grew up with 36 Chambers and Meth solo career and Meth and Redman and all that stuff. So I've really always really enjoyed him. And in this movie, I mean, he just plays a stereotypical gangster.
Right.
Nothing really going on there, and that's the thing. I think that's the problem with this movie. There's really no characters that you could kind of really get into because they're all playing one-dimensional wooden characters.
Yeah.
Even Will Forte's performance was just like stereotypical white guy wanting to be in the black culture.
Right. And, usually you get really good performances out of him, and he did a good job, but there just wasn't enough there for him. Like, he was underutilized, because he could do so much more.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I think this movie suffered from just the bad character writing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing there for the audience to really latch onto.
Yeah, bad character writing and scenes that go on too long. That's essentially this movie in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say in the non-review or the non-spoiler section except for our final thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not going to go into like story-wise. There's visually, it's just.
I mean, there were some cool shots, like in some of the club scenes. I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's unique, I like that, but nothing to really wow me.
Yeah, it felt like just a standard movie, very safe, nothing exciting there. So, story-wise, was just a mess.
Right. So yeah, overall, like you'll get some laughs out of this movie, but it's really not worth your time. Like, I feel like there could be just kind of a quick supercut of all the big laughs, and you'll still kind of get everything you have to know about the movie.
Yeah, I sadly I agree, and I guess that's my biggest disappointment about this, because they're great together. They're very successful. Obviously, the show is great, but this movie just doesn't hit very often, and it's few and far between when it does have some good jokes.
Yeah, I feel like if you watch the Red Band trailer of this movie, which was my first time, hearing about it or anything, like, watch that and you'll pretty much get the whole movie in a nutshell, and that's all you need.
Yeah, you don't need much else.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Which is unfortunate, but
yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like, I was okay with watching the trailer and walking away and being like, yeah, this is a funny concept.
Mm-hmm.
And leaving it at a concept.
And that's the thing. It just is great in the concept stage. It's
All right. So, Alex, how can I reach you?
You can follow me on Twitter. My name there is Alex Sandberg, AlexSandberg, or you can email me directly at the website, alex@lostlevel.com. What about you, Chris?
I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/calmintensity. I'm on Instagram. It's Chris's Calm there. And you can find all of our social media links on lostlevel.com. And up in the upper right-hand corner, we have links to everything. We're also on YouTube, which I'd really appreciate if you guys took a moment, went to our YouTube channel, and subscribed to it. That would really be helpful for us in terms of getting some views and some clicks and stuff. So we're really trying to focus in on getting some YouTube stuff going on right now. That's really about it. We'd really appreciate you guys hanging out for the spoiler section. Because who knows what we're going to say? Because I don't.
Oh, I know. I kind of.
Fair enough. Okay, so signing off and spoilers in.
Now.
Spoilers, all right.
Oh,
God. Thanks for hanging on. We really appreciate it. But yeah, there's...
I mean, just the only really big spoiler to hit upon is the female gangster turning out to be a cop, right? And at that point, I'm just like, oh, fucking really? And
you didn't expect it?
No.
I expected.
Really?
Yeah, I expected the moment that they killed people they killed Anna Faris.
Mm-hmm.
I expected, no, okay, well, that was fake. That was staged.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think of it that way. I just thought it was a poorly drawn out scene like the rest of the movie was.
Okay, you know what? Yeah. Okay, I could see that, sadly.
Like, I didn't think
because the rest of the movie doesn't hit a lot of punchlines, and maybe that was supposed to be a setup, like a big punchline, like, hey, they just killed Anna Faris.
Right.
Ha ha ha.
I think of it in the same sense as Bill Murray in Zombieland, You get a celebrity coming in, playing themselves, doing some funny shit, and it ends up dying at the end. I thought of it supposed to be something like that.
I don't know. It just didn't feel very good.
No, yeah. But like I said, that's a lot of this movie where these things don't hit quite the way they're supposed to.
Which is so unfortunate. But yeah, and what I was talking about in the non-spoiler section in regards to, like, they're like straight up murderers.
Right.
Like, they're still worried about firing guns, and then they finally just pop off. And they're just shooting dudes, and they're just like...
Yeah, I mean, really, we only seen him kill two people, and it was
Well, you had the drug cartel where one of the guys picks up a gun and starts popping.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, you're that's true.
So they were killing drug people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that yeah, it makes no sense. There's a quick switch from them, which air quotes made sense during the scene because it was a kill or be killed situation.
Oh, against themselves.
The Aldman.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot his.
But basically, two Boondock Saints like motherfuckers.
Yeah, essentially they were I don't want to play like the race card of it, but like it's just like
they're African American Boondock Saints that didn't talk.
Yeah, and just go in and completely badasses, and
Right.
they're just.
No, you don't get any motivation behind them. You're not sure if they're trying to clean the streets or just fucking bloodthirsty murderers.
Yeah, you have no idea who they are or what their motives are. You just know that they're scary figures.
And they want the cat, like everyone in this movie.
Right. And for whatever reason, they like the cat and they go on a search for this cat.
Right. Well, everyone goes on a search for this cat. This cat is just totes adorbs. And
yeah, so they end up killing them, which okay, fine. They start shooting them. Okay. But the drug lords there.
Yeah, and then they turn like super badass. It's like, okay, this makes no sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that was the problem with it for me. And stuff happens like the whole his wife going on a weekend trip with the neighbor or their friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just gonna be them cheating on him because he's so generic.
Right.
And he has no personality whatsoever. He just does everything to appease everything. So I thought that we were just going to see clips of them banging or something like that.
I kind of like that because that's what I was expecting as well. So that threw me for a loop and did serve as a thin attempt to make the character grow. And it succeeded to a degree in that.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, because he makes a pass, or his friend makes a pass at his wife, he gets a phone call, and then he becomes, thuggish, ruggish bone again, or like the thug, and like almost gets them killed. Like if you're spouting off to like a lead gangster type dude,
right?
He would have just shot your asses. He doesn't believe you guys are hard asses or tough guys or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Because you are horrible at playing those people.
You're right.
It's so dumb. It's nonsensical. Just okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's supposed to be a comedy, but at least have some
intelligence behind it.
Right.
Some great comedies have some decent stories in them.
Mm-hmm.
Well enough to progress it, but like this, the beats are way too long.
Exactly. And
it just takes so long to set up stuff that doesn't really or hit anyway. So it's
yeah. I mean, that's about all we can say about it at this point.
Yeah, it's forgettable. I already forgot the name of those two guys. Like I don't I don't care enough.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about this movie. So if you have nothing else to watch, there's a couple funny moments in the movie, but for the most part, just watch the Red Bad trailer as Alex suggested, and watch something more better.
More better is always good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.